I'm Rob from Barefoot Gaming, and today we review the Be Quiet Pure Bass 500 with power supply. Let's do this. Now, if you follow our reviews, you'll know that we reviewed a Be Quiet case once before. It was the 600 that we reviewed, and the 600 is way bigger, way heavier, way more expensive actually. So I think what Be Quiet has done is they've dropped a SKU and tried to retain as many of the qualities that they could at the price point. Speaking of price, the price of these cases goes between $70 and $85 US depending on which features. So there are 3 colors. You can get white, black, and gunmetal. You can get each of them with or without window. And even though it is a smaller case, it still fits a full-size ATX. Now I keep talking about the size. I should mention this is 230 millimeters wide, 463 millimeters tall, and 450 millimeters deep. Now there are a couple of differences I noticed immediately comparing this to the 600. Now aside from the price, aside from the size, this case has a removable top, and there's 2 of them. One of them is like a grill, as you can hopefully see here. I'll try to get a better shot. And one is a solid metal with only a little bit of a grill on the front. This one, of course, like the rest of the case, has a bunch of the sound dampening material in it. So you can choose if you want high airflow or if you want it to be quieter. Switch out, it's as simple as snapping it in. There are 4 magnets, and that is all. Fits in just fantastic. Another thing that sets this apart from the 600 that I reviewed is the 600 had a button on the back that you could push, and the whole side just opened up. This one goes back to thumb screws. So how big a deal that is to you, I mean, you can decide, but the thumb screws are nice. They're not rough on the skin. They're thumb screws, that's all. So I myself opted for the solid because I wanted to go with a quiet case and test to see how quiet this thing could go. When you go with a window, obviously you don't have that sound dampening material there, so it's going to be a little bit louder. I went solid, and then because it has a solid side, the entire side has that sound dampening material built in. Now this fits oodles of different size radiators, but something that really matters, at least for me and for I think a lot of people, is will this support long video cards? If you're running something like a gaming rig, you're gonna need to have some room for a beefy video card, and this fits up to 369 millimeters, no problem. There's 190 millimeters clearance for the CPU, and it comes with 2 140 millimeter Be Quiet fans that come pre-installed in the case. Now again, the larger the fan, the slower it generally needs to spin, which again makes it quieter. Everything about this case is aiming for quiet. The power supply, because it's from Be Quiet, you know, it's funny, you don't really think about how much noise a power supply makes unless your fan is getting old and is starting to grind. But you can't tell if this power supply is on. I just think it's really neat. You have to feel for it. Obviously the light will let you know, but everything about their fans, they've got this weird little, like, it's a ribbing. And somehow it cuts down on, I'm not a scientist, I don't understand the physics behind this, but clearly it cuts down on the amount of noise that it makes cutting through the air. I'm also going to mention the fact that there are 7 PCI slots in the back of this case. So when you're running a full-size case, you don't have any restrictions. You want to run 2 video cards, you want to run an extra sound card, whatever you want to run, there is lots of room for it. Let's talk about hard drives. Now there are 2 removable trays for hard drives. One will fit up to 3.5 millimeter, like the larger hard drives, and that's it. That's the most you're gonna be able to get of the older style hard drives. But if you want to fit solid state drives in here, you can fit up to 5, plus there's another 2 that you can fit onto that 1 removable tray. So lots of hard drives, there's no restriction, although they're not going to be all easily removed. You can only fit up to 2 of them on the easily removable tray. All the rest are more of a pain in the butt to screw in from the other side. Now where all the solid state drives will fit, or all the extra solid state drives will fit, is on the back of the plate that the motherboard sits on. And there's 2.5 centimeters of space there. So all of your cable management is a dream. 2.5 centimeters is a lot of room to run all your cables up. So bravo on that front. I love the fact that I don't feel like I'm pinching cables. Plus, they include Velcro ties. So all the cables that you route up, you can run through their Velcro straps. One less thing to worry about if you want to pull one cable out. You don't have to snip your ties. Really good idea. Now, although the power supply slips in from the back, again, 4 thumb screws mounted to a plate, so you push it in, it will support up to a 210 millimeter long power supply. Now, I myself have never run a power supply that long, but it has room for pretty much any size power supply. That's not an issue. Of course, they've got the power supply sitting on rubber feet. to again reduce vibration. Of course they did. They are Be Quiet, and they're obsessed with making everything as quiet as possible. The bottom of the case has 4 rubber feet on the bottom to make sure that that's also quiet. There is a pull-out tray on the bottom for a dust filter. Now, one of the most important things about a computer case is how aesthetically you find pleasing. So obviously it has to mechanically hold everything that you want. But do you like the look of this case? That's very important, and I can't make that decision up for you. The only negatives that I can really list at all is the fact that there's no reset button. Does that matter to you? If it does, this wouldn't be the right case. The only other negative I can think of is if you've got a slew of 5 1/4 inch drives, you know, your floppies, and you want to fit that in here, you are out of luck. That's it. I like the case, but I mean, I like the minimalist look to it. I like the fact that everything is designed to run quiet, and it's noticeable. If I run this beside any of my other computers in the room, this doesn't make any noise, and the others always have an ambient. So that's my review. Be Quiet 500. If you have any questions, leave them down below. There's always a chance I will have forgotten things. I can almost guarantee I will have forgotten things, but let me know. I will do my best to get back to you. Like, subscribe. I love hearing from our viewers, and I will talk to you again real soon. See ya.